Good evening, and welcome to another World of Warships video by Captain Darkwing Glacier. In this battle, I am... Look at that matchmaking. I'm in a Tier 8 ship in a Tier 10 game. We have 5 battleships on our team, and they're all Tier 10 except me. The enemy has a Tier 10 carrier, and both of their destroyers are higher tier than I am. And they have a Worcester. He'll just HE spam me until I burn to a crisp. The matchmaker is so broken. This is total BS. Wargaming has to fix this. Ugh. In this video, I'm going to address a common complaint about World of Warships that is expressed in chat at the start of almost every single game. The matchmaker. I'm not going to go into detail as to how the matchmaking system works, because I don't know how it works, or how I think it could be improved. Rather, I'm going to talk about how players complain that they get screwed by it, and why I don't have a lot of patience for those complaints. I mean, I'm not hating on players who complain, because we can all get frustrated on those days when it seems like everything is stacked against you, whether it be the matchmaker, RNGesus, or maybe your aiming skills just aren't working that day. Now, everyone wants to be the top tier ship in a game where they can rampage around the map with impunity, sinking those poor saps who are bottom tier. They want to feel like a big ship in the small pond. And if they're bottom tier, they can't do that. As a bottom tier ship, they have to play more cautiously. Their role might be to support the bigger, badder ships rather than being the hero. Rather than accept that role for one game and do their best to fulfill it, many players would rather whine, or at least vent, how the matchmaker's broken and wargaming is deliberately screwing them. I've worked long and hard to grind my way to Tier 8. I'm entitled to bully those noobs at Tier 6, not have to go up against Tier 10s. This is so unfair. Yeah, well, suck it up. In the real world, admirals and captains rarely get to choose what ships they get to fight with. Instead, they have to make do with what they have. Often this means they have to go up against near impossible odds. When you're on the side that has the big advantages, it's easy to become complacent. When you are at a disadvantage, if you want to contribute, let alone compete, you need to up your game. And when you're forced to up your game, your skills improve. There are few things in the game that are more satisfying than taking on a higher tier ship and sinking it. I remember taking out my little tier 5 Nicholas destroyer and executing a textbook ambush on a full health enemy Nagato, killing it in one salvo. Or rather, both salvos of my torpedoes. Had the situation been reversed and I deleted a Nicholas while in a Nagato, I'd have forgotten about it quickly. It's the games where you rise to the challenge that you remember, not the curb stomp battles. Getting a Kraken at any time is an achievement, but getting one while up-tiered in a game, that's something to be proud of. So the next time you're up-tiered, don't resign yourself to contributing little and dying early. Look at it as a challenge to see what you can do while at a disadvantage. How can you make the most of a bad situation? When your Tier 10 opponent sees you and thinks, oh, that's just a Tier 8, easy kill, prove them otherwise. So what am I going to do in my Massachusetts here? I'm in a Tier 10 game. I am definitely an underdog. The Massachusetts is a good ship, but I keep hearing from various community contributors that, this ship, while fun to play, just cannot compete. This is still a random battle, so it's not competitive in that sense, but I think it's kind of competitive right now because there are way too many Tier 10s in this ship, in this battle rather. So here I have a Montana and a Yamato on my side, and a Buffalo, and they're all not pushing into the cap because they're terrified of that Worcester out there and the fact that there's a Z-52. Well, I'm pretty maneuverable in this Massachusetts, so if the Z-52 fires torpedoes, unless I'm really unlucky, I'll probably take maybe 1 or 2 hits total, and I'll be able to bully my way into this cap and delete that Worcester. The problem with Worcesters, and look at that right there, my carrier buddy takes him down to about half his health, so that was a definite help there. But the thing is that Worcesters are most dangerous to battleships when they're hiding behind islands and can arc their shells over them. The Worcester's in a good position, but not for a close quarters battle. So here come the torpedoes expected from the Z-52. They're not even aimed towards me, so don't have to worry about them. And I'm just laser focused on taking out this Worcester. The Republic, I've got good angling on him, so I could be taking damage from him if he decides to target me, but I'm not too worried about him right now. And you'll notice that the Yamato has finally gotten some courage and is following me. And here's the Worcester. If I can finally see him poke his nose out from behind this rock. There he is. There you go, my main battery, and my secondaries open up. See, he fires back basically completely ineffectively. My secondaries are just chewing him up. And there he goes, close quarter expert, kill number 1. Now I instantly switch my secondaries to fire on the Republic because he's within range. Here come the torpedoes from the Z-52. Looks like I'm going to take 2 of them. But again, I have excellent torpedo protection. I immediately repair the flooding. Unfortunately, I'm down to half health already, so am I really going to contribute all that much into this game? Well, I don't know. Here comes another torpedo. This is going to be a close one. It does hit me, which is unfortunate, but fortunately my repair party, or rather my damage control, is still active, so I don't take a lot of damage. So I'm thinking I gotta angle away from this Republic, who's running, fortunately, but what do I see ahead of me? There's the Montana facing me complete broadside, all 4 of his guns pointed right at me. So I've got myself into a world of hurt here. Fortunately, I'm well angled against him. I fire my 4-2 guns at him. He's still just sitting there. And what do you know? I get a Citadel. 21,700 damage, which isn't so bad. He does about 6,000 back to me, and my health is still not doing that good. But at this point, I'm just going for broke. I've got my secondaries firing at this guy. I can probably damage him a lot before I go down. Look at my health now. It's at 8,600, and I am frantically repairing. And now there's somebody HE spamming me. I think it's Cleveland. And you'll note that the Montana doesn't seem to care about me anymore. He's more worried about the Yamato, who is showing lots of broadside, so he is ignoring me. Our gearing is launching some torpedoes against the Montana, which is also good news. Yep, it's an enemy Cleveland over there who's shooting at me. And he's not moving either. He's just sitting parked. So I fire my main battery at him. And my repair party is going to come back up. And what do you know? Nice shot on the Cleveland. Takes him out. That's kill number 2. So I'm able to kick off my second repair party. Hopefully get back into this fight a little bit. Montana looks like he's taken a torpedo hit or a couple torpedo hits. And he's also trying to cap B and probably moving into there fast to try to get away from fire from the Yamato, the Minotaur, and the Montana that are finally pushing out of A. So this could be very dangerous for me. I could be going right into the Montana's guns, showing my broadside, and get deleted. Or he could have his attention focused elsewhere. And that looks like is what the situation is. He's down to 1,700 hit points. He's kicked off a heal, but that's not going to be enough to keep him alive. Because here comes my shots. And boom. That's kill number 3. Enemy torpedo planes are on the way in. This could easily spell the end of me, especially since these are tier 10 planes. Lines up his attack. This is gonna be close. Fortunately, I evade it, but here comes the second wave. But look at that. He only gets off 1 torpedo because of my AA. Or is it my AA, or is it enemy fighters that saved my butt there? Yeah, I think it was the enemy fighters. So I can't take all the credit for that. But still, I am very low on health. I can have another repair party, but it's not going to repair too much, because too much of this damage is unrepairable. We have a enemy Montana over there who looks like he's in trouble, and he goes down, so I save my shots. And it looks like there's a Kronstadt and a North Carolina over at the sea cap. So those are going to be my next targets, and see if I can support my Montana and my carrier in taking these guys out. I clear the mountain and have a clear shot on this Kronstadt. A couple of my shells still hit the mountain anyway. And I do a little bit of damage. I'm hoping... Okay, it looks like the enemy Republic has been killed down to the south. The Yamato and the Montana on my team are going after the carrier, and they still have the Z-52 to worry about. Here's the North Carolina with a lot of health, a lot more than me, but showing me perfect broadside. So I start angling away. I target him with my secondaries. I do 11,000 damage with 2 penetrations, which is pretty good. He senses the danger and starts turning away. And I take some more damage too. But my secondaries are just peppering him now. And he takes a massive hit from probably the Montana. And I recognize that maybe I can get a shot in there and get the kill. Nope, not quite. My shots weren't quite on target. Second attempt at that. And not quite. Shots out again on the rear turret. And not quite, but I do set a fire on him. So he's burning. Fire one more salvo on him. Nope, that misses too. I just don't quite have the aim. I think it's more the aim than the poor Sigma of this ship. There's the kill. The Kronstadt is heavily damaged. I fire my remaining gun at him. And I get the kill, I get Kraken Unleashed, and I get a double strike. So, not bad for a Tier 8 ship in a Tier 10 game. You may say that I did some kill steals there, but, hey, being in the right position at the right time can definitely help sway the battle. And if I hadn't killed those guys when I did, they may have lasted a little bit longer and done more damage to the team. You'll note some key things that happened in this game. For example, I pushed into that A-cap when my Tier 10 battleships were too afraid to do so, and that was enough to get them to push as well and allowed us to take the cap and push on through. Immediately after that, I was facing a Tier 10 Montana, facing, all 4 of his guns were aiming right at me. Our Republic was also in a position to hit me with it, because I was showing full broadside to him, but since I wasn't seen as the biggest threat to him, he was more afraid of the Tier 10 battleships, the Yamato and the Montana. He chose to fire at them instead when he could have finished me off. The Montana took a couple salvos on me, but then when he was presented with a broadside target, the Yamato, he passed up the opportunity to finish me off to shoot at the Yamato. Being a Tier 8 ship sitting right in front of the enemy, they can ignore you sometimes, and I was fortunate that I was able to make that Montana pay for that mistake. He was heavily damaged at the time, but he did not expect me to come around that corner and finish him off. So, just because you're a lowest tier ship is no reason to give up and just throw your life away. You can contribute to your team in a major way. Sometimes you just have to make do. Well, that's it for this video, so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.